What is going on? Welcome to this week's episode of the Second of Strength podcast. Wherever you are, I'm always grateful you're here. Grateful you're spending your valuable seconds with me. I just believe that seconds can change your life. And so the fact that you're spending your seconds with me means a lot to me. But if you haven't done so already, I'd love it if you would go and leave a rating and review for the show so we can get this out to more people. The only way that really happens is by me sharing things on social media, by you sharing things on social media, or by leaving a rating and review for the show. And so if this podcast or anything that I post helps you in any way, there's a good chance it's going to help someone else. So I would love it and appreciate it if you would go leave a rating and review for the show. It just takes a couple of those valuable seconds for you to do that. But today we're going to talk about something that I think is really important. We're going to talk about hope. We're going to talk about overcoming those challenges that we're facing, those big ones, those small ones, those ones that feel debilitating, when we're feeling those anxieties, when we're feeling those pressures. I think that we are living in a world, in a society where there's a lot of pressure, and we feel, and I feel it too, but we feel a lot of times this like overwhelming, just like, I don't know, sometimes it's debilitating, right? When hope feels lost, when you have those can't breathe moments and you don't know what you're going to do and you don't know how to get out of the situation you're in. And I think that sometimes those things that we're going through are things that we didn't put on ourselves. And sometimes they're things that we do put on ourselves. But the question isn't what has happened in the past? What are those past scenarios? What are those past challenges? What has led us to the point? The question is, what are we going to do and what are we going to choose to move from where we are now to where we want to be? And whether you are a teenager, whether you are a mom, you are a dad, whether you are a business owner, whether you are just trying to be the best version of yourself, whoever that is, and if you're listening to this podcast, that's a good chance that's you. But if you're trying to become the best version of yourself, then part of that is dealing and learning to overcome those struggles and those challenges that we're facing in any given moment of any given day, because that's how we move forward. That's how we grow. That's how we learn to be resilient and learn to overcome. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about that and how to overcome that anxiety, that debilitating lack of hope in our lives. And I think that sometimes when things start weighing on us, we start to feel this anxiety more and more and more. And anxiety is this fear of the future that is likely not going to happen, but we start projecting all of these different scenarios. I know my wife recently was going through a couple of things in our neighborhood, and the challenges she was seeing, she just started thinking that, all these people are going to think differently about her, and she didn't do anything wrong. But people started fearing this anxiety that people were going to think differently about her. And I was like, hey, babe, I don't even think anybody's thinking about it. I think that you are projecting a fear that isn't actual into the world. And as we talked about it, she started to realize, yeah, you're probably right. I'm probably making too much of this. And look, there are real life scenarios where maybe we're not making too much of it, but whatever that is, these steps are going to help you overcome those emotions that you're feeling in any given moment so that you can rise above and move forward, even if it's hard, even if it's difficult. So the first one that we really need to do, we need to process the emotions. If we're feeling an emotion, that's real. Like, I'm not going to discount any emotion that you're feeling at any given day. And if we're feeling anxiety of a future, well, that is an emotion still, but we want to process and recognize that emotion. Emotions will always pass. None of them stay. If you're happy, you're not always happy because that emotion passes. If you're sad, you're not always sad because that emotion passes as well. Fear, all of the emotions that you feel throughout the day, throughout your life, they are all temporary. And so we have to recognize them for what they're worth, that they are a temporary feeling that we are going to feel and that it is going to pass. And so we can work our way through it. So we want to recognize our emotions. We want to label them, recognize what we're feeling, but we also want to find the root of why we're feeling that. And maybe above all, we don't want to make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Let's feel it. Let's recognize it. Let's identify it. Identify the root cause of what we're feeling. And sometimes that root cause is something that we've caused, that we've, again, inflicted on ourselves. And sometimes the root cause is something that somebody else has inflicted. And I always tell teenagers when I go and speak in schools, we cannot control what other people do to us. We can't control other people's actions, but we can always control our reactions. And so in this moment, whatever's happening to us, let's pause, let's recognize that emotion, let's label that emotion, identify the root cause, do a little bit of investigative work and identify why we're feeling that emotion, because when we identify the why, we can also identify the how of how we're going to move forward, how we're going to push on, how are we going to grow through this and make it to on the other side of that emotion. So recognize that emotion, and then let's talk about how we can move forward despite what we're feeling. And I think one powerful piece of this is when we are feeling that emotion, we recognize it, we also get to choose if that's the emotion we want to feel or what we want the desired outcome to be is. We decide what we give voice to in our head. We decide that, and we can't give that power to anybody else. We can't give that power to somebody who's acted on us. We can't give that power to anybody. We choose what we give power to in our head, what we give voice to in our head. And so if it is an emotion that you don't want there, or an emotion that is weighing you down or making life a little bit harder, a little bit worse, and it's debilitating, and we have those can't breathe moments, we get to choose if that is the emotion that we want to feel. And when we identify the emotion, we can grow through it and make it through. And we can't defer. We can't I don't know. I think sometimes when we're feeling these negative emotions right now, especially, we default to scrolling social media. We defer the pain. We defer all of that. It's okay to feel the emotion, recognize it, identify it, figure out the why, and then move through it. We don't want to defer it. We want to move through it. And when we do that, that's how we get stronger. So the very first thing, process that emotion. Let's identify it. Let's not shy away from it. Let's identify it so we can work through it. The second thing is, let's default to truths. When there are these anxiety, when there are these fears, when there are all these things that are going on in our lives, let's default to the truths about you, the truths about me, the things that are rock hard solid. And maybe you find these things hard to believe, but I'm here to tell you, when you are losing hope, this is where hope comes from. It's in the truth. And the truth is, you are unique. The truth is, you are special. The truth is, you are one of 8 billion people on this planet. And there was like a whole bunch of people before these 8 billion, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people after these 8 billion. But the reality is that you are the only one, the only person who is you. There is not another soul on this earth. There is not another soul that has ever been or ever will be that is you. And I hope what you recognize is that makes you special. That makes you unique. It makes you one of one. It makes you incredibly invaluable to the world. And so lean on that truth, because no matter what's going on, no matter what other people have said to you, no matter what anxieties or fears or doubts that you're feeling in your life, there is that truth that you are 100% unique. No one has ever been you, and your qualities, who you are, it is special, and it's what's going to help other people. So recognize that. Know that you are loved. You are loved by so many people. Know that you have come this far. You've made it through all your bad days. Every bad day you've had up until now, 100% of them, you have made it through. Don't discount your strength. Don't discount your resilience. Don't discount your ability to move through very difficult, hard things, because you have always made it through those. Default to that truth that you are strong, that you are brave, that you are resilient, that you are loved. You are all of those things. And it's what's going to help you when you feel helpless. It's what's going to help you when you feel hopeless. That's what's going to help you through. So that's the second thing. Default to the truths in your life, and they are true. And I know sometimes when we are feeling that sadness and that depression, we tend to not believe the truths. Believe the truths. Know them. Love them. Write them down. Repeat them to yourself. When you're in a good state of mind, write them all down so that when you get in a bad state of mind, you can read through all those positive truths that are out there. The third thing is control the controllables. Focus on them. We cannot control a lot of things that are happening to us, but we do get to control some of the things that are happening to us. A lot of the things, we always get to choose what's the next best choice, what's the next best thing that we're going to do. And I think that, when hope feels lost, change is a must. It's required. We have to change something. Sometimes it's just as simple as changing where you're at, changing your location, stand up, moving around. Sometimes it's getting outside. Sometimes it's just focusing on breathing. Sometimes it's forcing a smile. They're neurologically, when you smile, it automatically sends those positive endorphins into your mind. And so try it. If you are feeling down, smile. It will immediately brighten your mood. If you are feeling down, stop focusing all of the things that are out there. If you're feeling hopeless, stop focusing all the things that are causing hopelessness, and just for a minute, just start breathing. Control your breath. 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out. 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out. And when you do that, you start to regulate your heartbeat, regulate your breathing, regulate the things that are going in your life, and you recognize that you actually are in control. And then you get to choose, what is the next best step you want to take? What is the next thing you want to do? And so control the controllables. Don't focus on all the things that you can't control. There's so many of them that we can't control. But when life feels hopeless, control the things that you can control, and it will help you move and make it to the next best decision that you want to make in your life. Number 4, lean in on gratitude. I think that this is in personal development and self-help. It's like probably the most overstated thing, like be grateful, be grateful, be grateful. But the reality is it's overstated because it works. It's overstated because it is a thing that is going to change you mentally in the moment to focus on the positive and focus on the good. And I think what happens is we think so many negative thoughts in our day. We think like negative thought, they just come in, I don't know why, we're just conditioned to think negative thoughts. And so when we force gratitude into our lives, or we can become a person that lives in gratitude, we don't either allow those negative thoughts to come in, or if they are in our minds and if we're feeling hopeless, then those things have kind of come in, then we have the power in that 1 second to shift to gratitude. And that shift to gratitude is what is going to change, obviously, our attitude, as they say. So focus on that. What are the things that you are grateful for? No matter how big, no matter how small, in that moment, say those things that you are grateful for. Because here's the deal. When we replace negative thoughts immediately with one thing, even one thing that you are grateful for, it will change you. Because where gratitude lives, negativity and darkness cease to exist. They cease to exist. And isn't that the world we want to live in? If we're feeling this hopelessness and this pressure and this pain and that negativity, then isn't that positivity what we're really craving in our lives? And the path to craving that, or the path to achieving that, is by gratitude, saying something that you're grateful for in that moment. It could be your dog. It could be, that the sun is shining. It could be that you're breathing. It could be as simple that, you did good on something. It could be anything. But find something that you're grateful for. And I don't honestly want to hear that there's nothing that you're grateful for, because that's not true. There are so many things that you can be grateful for. And whether they're physical, tangible things, or they are mental states, or they are different things, there's always something that you can be grateful for in any given moment. And so lean in on that. Lean in on that. Get in the habit of writing down or saying the thing that you're grateful for, or identifying the things that you're grateful for. Sometimes it's just a matter of driving down the road and recognizing something new that you've never seen before. Sometimes it's recognizing somebody who said something kind to you. Maybe it's somebody that smiles at you. There's always something that you can be grateful for, and those are the things to lean into, because like I said, when we replace negative thoughts immediately with something that you are grateful for, it will change you. Because where gratitude lives, negativity and darkness cease to exist. That's the power of positive gratitude thinking. So the very last thing is, I think it's number 5, if I'm counting right, is break down all the things that are going on in your life and that you need to accomplish next. Break them down into very simple steps, right? I think overwhelm and hopelessness comes from us projecting into this future and going, man, I can't climb that mountain because it is just too tall, just too big. How in the world can I possibly go from where I am to where I need to be? And the reality is you go step by step. And so what are the simple steps that you can break down your to-do list into mini to-dos? And even if you break it down into mini to-dos, what are the things that you can break down even further? If you said, hey, I've got to accomplish this in a day and I don't know how I'm possibly going to do it. Well, if you were to break that down into the next hour and go, this is what I need to accomplish in the next hour. And then you said, okay, well, no, actually, this is what I need to accomplish in the next 15 minutes. And actually, no, this is what I need to do in the next 3 minutes to move forward into that goal. And, don't hold yourself hostage if you don't accomplish the thing in those 3 minutes, because life has a way of getting out of hand. But just know that accomplishing those things and moving it into bite-sized pieces, it's what's going to help you move. And then maybe the key to all of that is celebrate those small wins. I think that sometimes we get so focused on the future and the things that we haven't accomplished in our lives that we forget to celebrate the things in our past that we have accomplished, even the things that we've accomplished in the last 5 minutes. What are the things that you have accomplished that you can celebrate that will give you those positive mood boosts so that you can move forward and accomplish the next things that you need to accomplish? That's what it's about, because we don't celebrate ourselves enough. And if life is feeling dark and life is feeling hopeless, then celebrate the things that you have done in the past that have led you to where you're at now, because there are so many of them, because you are an incredible person. You have done incredible things. So break it down to simple steps. But I hope this helps you today. I really just think that there's a handful of things that you can do if life is feeling hopeless. Process those emotions, number 1. 2, default to the truths that are in your life. Number 3, focus on the controllables, the things that you can control right now. Number 4, lean in on gratitude, because where gratitude lives, darkness and negativity cease to exist. And number 5, break whatever you have to do into those simple steps, those manageable, those bite-sized steps. Because if we're in a world where we can't breathe because we're feeling all of that pressure right now, then the only way out of it is just one step at a time. Forget about all the other things, all the things you can't control that are way out there. Just do one step at a time, and I promise it'll help you. So I hope this helped you today. Look, if you're going through something right now, just know that you're loved. Know how incredibly invaluable you are to this world. And this world is a better place because you're in it. So please, please, please promise me, no matter what's going on, no matter how difficult, promise me you'll be here tomorrow. So, and with that, I'll leave you the way I always leave you. Go find your 1 second of strength and be happy.